pivoting and jumping online. I guess moving these things to Zoom a few years ago and keeping them here has had some benefit. Um, all right, let me go through the agenda. Do we have any? I don't think I see any visitors.
No comments were sent to me in advance, I can tell you that.
Okay, great. Let's see. I don't see anyone. Thank you. All right. Has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes, and are there any changes that need to be made?
You're on mute, Karen.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm not a Zoom aficionado, believe it or not.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. I on the minutes, I was confused on page 3, the first bullet. First 3 of the year, fourth Monday of the month. Does that mean that the first 3 meetings of the year will be on the fourth Monday of the month? And if that is true, is that the correct read of that?
Yes, because I think of like the holidays that fall. It was just like the Martin Luther King holiday or like the other holidays, we won't be able to have the third Monday. So then we would just change it.
President's Day next month is on the third Monday.
Right. And I think in March it was spring break was we're going to have folks out for spring break.
So that means in February and March, it's the fourth Monday.
Correct.
So it's not President's Day, but the one after that. And then it is the fourth Monday of March as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, February 19th and March 25th. I mean, February 26th and March 25th.
And my apologies. I just realized that on the agenda for this meeting, it has the wrong February date at the bottom of this agenda. So that
was part of my confusion.
Sorry, John, that's my bad.
Okay.
So it's the next Monday.
So it's the 29th.
Okay.
Of January.
February. What's the next?
Wait, no, this is.
Yeah, we're in January. February of next month, you mean?
Would be the 26th.
26th of next month. All right, I got that.
And then for March, it will be the 25th.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Any other?
There's my only question. Thank you.
Okay. Any other changes or comments on the minutes?
Yeah, in that same bullet where it says third Monday of the month, I think that one is actually goes with the prior bullet with the 2024 meeting schedule, and then right after every month it says Karen, and it went on to say what I was going to be saying. So that should be a separate bullet where it says Karen. But I had also, I think that I said that I'd like to see, because we were talking about priorities, I would like to see energy conservation as a priority, and then that Missouri would be rolling out the incentive rebates. And so there's a phrase that goes before that. So the bullet would be Karen would like to see energy conservation as a priority, and then the rest of what it says there.
Where is it?
It's in the bullet. It's the third bullet up from the bottom on the last page.
See, third Monday. Oh, I see that. Sorry. Okay, got it. I will move that down. And then Karen, okay. And then what do you want me to add?
Would like to see energy conservation as priority.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Get that on there. Anything else?
Okay, with that, could we get a motion to approve the minutes as changed, as modified?
Okay, got it.
I'm sorry, I didn't see people. If someone raised their hand, could we get a motion on the minutes?
I move to accept the minutes as amended.
Okay, John with a motion. Any second?
I second.
Yeah, I'm the second. So all in favor can say yes or raise your hand. All right, approved.
Thank you.
All right, the mechanics of meeting on Zoom. Okay, it didn't look like we had visitor comments, but I'll just check once more to make sure there's. I see only faces that I know. All right, we will skip visitor comments and go to Council Member Bliss for your update.
Hi. Last couple meetings, we've been going over budget items. We had a second quarter financial report. Everything's in good shape. Revenue has been a little bit more than projected on the use tax, which was good. And we are trying to focus on businesses and their revenue. Essentially, sales tax is put into a county tax pool, and then we get money back based on population, and Webster Groves is one of those municipalities that benefits from being in the pool. We get more money back than we put in. So just a good thing about shopping Webster and being a Webster resident is we do benefit from the tax pool. So we talked a lot about sales tax and things, and leading into that, we have the Business Development Commission is going to have a networking coffee on February 7th in the morning. It's 8:30 to 10 at the Recplex. And it's, even if you're not a business, it would be a good thing to attend this week, or it's on the 7th. Eric is going to be presenting organizational structures for revenue. So talking about other ideas as far as maybe a community improvement district or other neighborhood type districts for taxing that would help unify the businesses. So this will be a good presentation, and it'll be good to hear from Eric. He's on top of things, and he's a good presenter. So it might be a good learning experience to come to that. And there's always coffee and donuts. And then we're also, the recruitment process for the new chief of police is underway, and they've been doing some focus groups in-house with staff, and there is a community survey out. I'll put it in the chat, and that just talks about all the qualities that we would be looking for in a police chief. I know there's been talk about their policies towards equity and maybe being a little more progressive, but they also need to just be a strong leader and someone who wants to be visible in the community. So anyway, if you want to tap on that survey and give us your opinion, I think they'll be open maybe another week or so for that. And that's all I have.
Pam, could you say real quick when that Eric meeting is again?
That's February 7th in the morning, 8:30 to 10 at the Recplex meeting room.
Thank you.
And it's the Business Development Commission twice a year is going to be doing these networking coffees for businesses. And that's actually the very first one. Ben from Green Dining Alliance attended that. So actually, if anybody, as we start talking about the agenda today, if Green Dining Alliance comes up, that might be a good place for some other commission members just to be there and help spread the word about that as well.
All right. All right. Sean, before I go to you, I meant to start the meeting by mentioning that Carla is stepping down from the commission because of her new job and the time demands of that. So she notified me in a letter, and I guess she did, even before notifying me, mention that she has somebody who she's, I think, spoken with at Webster U, who's involved with the sustainability program there, who is interested in the commission. So I just responded with, whenever this gets posted, and I'm not sure about the process for that, but kind of directed them to where that link will be, and kind of what the process is. But if others of you also know folks who are interested, it's probably a good time to get the word out. But Carla was initially going to be able to join us, but then something came up. But I was hoping maybe in the next couple of meetings she could join us, so we could just kind of give her our thanks in person for the time she spent on the commission. So with that, I guess, Sean, I will kick it over for your update.
Perfect. Thank you. And Jeff, just so the group knows, there is a process in place for filling that position. And there is also an applicant that's been on the waiting list and has already interviewed. So just to be respectful of the residents that have been waiting for a while, I don't want to mislead anyone. But certainly, yeah, you could spread the word. Also, I know that the commission, and Vera, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Sustainability Commission, the range of members for this commission is 7 to 9. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So now with Carla stepping down, I believe we're at 8 now. Okay. But yes, anyway. That is
Can I ask a quick question, Sean?
Yeah.
What is the process for filling this seat?
The process is, now you guys would actually probably know better than I, but if I'm accurate, there's an application that you have to fill out, and then you also go in for an interview. Did you go for an interview? Yeah. Okay.
Right. It starts
And
with
so
on the city website, there's a board and commission page with links to available positions or openings on various commissions.
So a person would fill out
John.
an application and then is interviewed by whom?
I'm not certain on that.
City council.
Council, yeah.
Okay.
So I do remember interviewing everybody here.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Very
and
simple.
then so there's application, city council, interview, and then it comes to this commission and we decide, or the city council decides?
Council decides. As long as all the interviews have been taken place, we will decide that night. But if we know of other applications that are, that people that have applied that could make it, then we usually, will wait a couple weeks before they interview and then select somebody.
So this commission per se doesn't have we don't have any sort of say so in who's chosen.
No, not really, other than just the recruiting aspect.
Okay. Right. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think probably we get a lot of our members by word of mouth and references. So, yeah, I don't see it as a problem to encourage people to show interest if they do, even though there may be existing applicants who have been interviewed. But yeah, that's good. That's good to know, Sean, that someone's.
Well, I guess because the commission had been at 9 people, this person's been on the waiting list for a while and has just been eager to be involved. But certainly that doesn't mean that more people could not be interviewed. So
right. And I think Carla just sort of just trying to be a good steward of. Well, yeah, right. Was just thinking of us and trying to recommend someone who would be qualified. But to my knowledge, they have not. I haven't heard anything about whether or not they've applied.
Okay. Well, and we also haven't promoted it yet because I had to ask Carla for an official letter of resignation before, any other steps could be taken. She did send in the email on Friday. I think that was so.
Okay.
And for what it's worth, I do not know who this person is that she's recommending.
Okay. Well, moving on. Also, just to let the group know that Todd is no longer with the city of Webster. So he has moved on. And so I will just move into the role of being your official staff liaison. And Vera is still the acting director of public works, and she will be joining meetings as she's available and as she can. But I just wanted to let you guys know that. The greenhouse gas inventory, we have a new student. She has not started yet. I do have a meeting with her and Dr. Locke scheduled for Thursday. I'm very excited. This student, the greenhouse gas inventory will be her master's, the project she does for her thesis for her master's, which is great. So she'll be very eager and very excited, I think, and engaged. She's also she's an international student from Nepal, actually. And so she doesn't have transportation to come to Webster, which is how we worked it out with the previous student. The previous student came and worked with me at City Hall. And this student will stay at SIUE campus, but she will be working in Dr. Locke's office. And I actually think this will be great because Dr. Locke will be much closer to our project and more engaged. And so I'm very excited. And I think things will pick back up with that again very soon. So I meet her on Thursday and looking forward to getting that going again. The Green Dining Alliance, the past couple of weeks, we've been working on promotional materials. So just last week, we got the website loaded. We have the application created for restaurants to fill out when they're applying for the grant from Webster Groves. And then we also have a brochure that's been created that also has a QR code for the actual Green Dining Alliance organization. The brochure's yet to be printed, but it's finished. And so next month, in February, basically outreach will start. Ben is very excited, as am I. If you guys know of other opportunities or gatherings or events that he should go, please shoot them my way. Any ideas you have for connecting? I know about the BDC event that Councilmember Bliss just talked about. From my understanding, not a lot of restaurants typically go to that. And so I think Ben was going to go, but I'm not sure. And there was from Eric, it sounded like the specific theme for the majority of that event. So I don't think that will end up being a big networking event for the Green Dining Alliance, but it certainly won't hurt to be talking about it there. And then also, I've been working on the solar events that we've discussed at the last meeting. I did reserve space at Olive and Oak for March 3rd. It's a Sunday. And I also have Ameren. They have it on their calendar to come and host a table, answer questions. So, and I know this is an agenda item for further down, so we don't have to talk about it too much right now, but I definitely want to spend some time talking about that event and who else we should invite to be there and which of the commission members can be there and what that event will look like. And those are my big three.
Hey, Sean, how are you meeting with Dr. Locke and our student? Are you meeting in person or?
On Thursday, they're supposed to come to City Hall. That's the plan. Okay. And then moving forward, we'll have regular Zoom. We'll have every 2 weeks the Zoom meeting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Would you like to come on Thursday? You're more than welcome.
I might. What time is it?
I believe it's at 10:30.
Okay.
I'll forward you the Outlook invite.
Yeah, that'd be great. The BDC meeting is at that morning, so I'll be around. So maybe I can just stop in.
Okay, yeah.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
All right. Thanks, Sean. I guess next is old business. Oh, I'm sorry, John.
I wanted to respond to Sean's report. I'm actually unavailable on March 3rd and am sort of keen on this, but do we have any flexibility in that date at this juncture?
I asked them about late February, early March, and I'm sorry, since I'm at home today, I don't have access to my like my Outlook. I'm on my personal laptop right now, so I don't have access to all my work things at the moment. But I asked them for their availability for a range of dates, and they came back to me. I think they did give me like 2 or 3 options, and it seemed like from speaking with Jeff that this one was the best. I think one was a Saturday, and we thought, you know, Sundays are typically, we're competing with less events than a Saturday. But it seemed like the best date out of the options there that they gave us. I'd have to go back and look, John, at the specific dates. I can't tell you at this moment.
Okay. If there is any flexibility in it, it's been a issue I've been very keen on, and uh I'm just out of town on that day, but I am any of the couple of weekends beforehand I am around. And so if there's uh so if there's
What
a way
about
to
the
move
weekends
it where I could
after?
participate, I would appreciate it.
Okay. What about the weekends after?
Uh the weekend after um that's the 2nd and 3rd of March, I'm out of town. I'm basically out of town frankly from the 29th of February until the 24th of March. I'm gone for about a month.
Okay.
And I think pushing it to when I get back is late. But I am around that weekend before that, February 24, 25.
John, one of the things that we have to be mindful of is having enough lead time to get everything prepared in the publicity. And right now we're just a month from that weekend in February.
And I understand that. I know a lot of the solar players. I feel like I would add some value to the process. So, and it's something I've been promoting over the last number of months. So I think if there's a way to schedule it such that I could participate, that would be helpful.
I think we can look at the weekend prior, but I guess my initial thought was getting it out from trying to avoid the chance of having a day like this, but also not getting too late that people get busy all of a sudden. We run into spring break and the weather's nice, and but I do want to get out early enough to really start pushing this and talking about what we've done, because I don't think most people probably know, since it was kind of at the end of last year. Yeah, Andrea.
I just didn't get a time, whether it's on the 3rd or we change it. Do we have a time for that day?
Not yet. So we need to discuss that.
Okay.
What I told them is, probably a mid-afternoon, whether that's 1 to 3 or noon to 2, but
right,
that's open for discussion, and I'd love your input on what you guys could.
So since this is an agenda item, why don't I'm going to let Karen do her report on Eco Ed, and then we'll come back to this. Karen, do you want to go ahead with talk about?
Why don't we just keep on with this, and then I can
Okay.
Eco Ed after that.
Well, is there anyone else offhand that can't make it the 3rd or the prior weekend? since we're talking about availability. And I'm not
Sure, I'm available, minus soccer games or something, but we can work around it. I'm in town.
yeah, and I'll need to check with Elizabeth too. I know she's traveling today or attempting
So
to.
I'm actually out of town the weekend before.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I'm out for both, so don't worry about me.
okay. All right. Well, we'll need to make a decision as a commission. I'm kind of uncertain as to the prior weekend. The third, I'm open the second or the second. I mean, I guess John, I guess you're out of town the second as well, so that doesn't really moving it back. But I thought Sunday is just my opinion is preferable to Saturday. I'm maybe basing that on my own calendar, but I tend to have less going on Sunday afternoon. Any other thoughts on date, February versus March? I'm not trying to cut anybody out here. Nope. Sunday afternoon, is that?
I feel like that's good. I feel like people stick around their home, you know, they're around and getting ready for the week. So at least they're in Webster. We're not far from grocery stores
Right.
or whatever errands you got to run that day. Bring your kids. Come on in and learn about it.
Right. So beside Ameren, I know my initial thoughts were trying to get a solar installer. Obviously the commission to talk about the code change for the historic district and the solar rebates. Has anyone spoken with, do we know Grow Solar if they plan to have any kind of program in 24?
They don't have anything lined out just yet. However, I have spoken with Eric Schneider from Straight Up Solar. He presented at the One STL Sustainability Lab about a month ago or so. And he agreed to come and speak with us at our speaker series. And he may be willing to do this instead, because that's another subject altogether, the speaker series, but he might be available on that Sunday to participate. I could ask him.
Yeah, and I would think we would be able to get a solar install. I mean, if I were a solar installer and they were having, a program like this, I would make it a priority to be there. And
we could always have more than one.
Sure. Yeah, there's no harm for sure. John.
Do you guys plan on having anybody from Nelnet there? Have you talked with them? They partner with Grow Solar. I had sent an email to Jeff and Sean about a guy who I talked to who's a good consultant. He's an engineer that helps people figure out the viability of solar in their home.
I have not reached out to anyone at Nelnet. I haven't reached out to any solar people yet. I knew that Grow Solar wasn't, they didn't have a program yet for this year. So,
well, how about if I send you forward this email and you can have this, at least the one guy, one engineer we worked with here at our house. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get solar. It's just not a viable solution here. But it was a very cool technology that he demonstrated and, was really able to explain why it wasn't going to work here. So I will put you in touch, Jeff and Sean, with him again.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank
you. Okay.
Question on that. Was that the vendor for the Grow Solar program?
Nelnet is like the umbrella company. Nelnet also does student loans. So they're an umbrella company that is somehow related to the Midwest Renewable Energy Association, which is also one of the partners for Grow Solar. Grow Solar is really just like the promotion piece of the group buy program. They have then their they have a different installer. They don't necessarily have the same installer every year, if that makes sense, but Nelnet is like an umbrella.
I guess my point is that if Grow Solar did their due diligence and chose a particular vendor for St. Louis this last go round, that would be an argument for choosing them, because I know Eric Schneider, great guy, longtime solar advocate, but I think we're kind of, it's tricky to sort of pick who we want to pick, because there's sort of they all want to do it, and so, but I don't think we have the resources to do sort of our own study to figure out who is the best uh, installer. So I just want to be aware of the sort of the challenge there and have a process that's not
Yeah.
seem like it's just an insider process where we talk to our buddies kind of thing.
Yeah. No, we're certainly not trying to, channel business to one particular contractor. So I think that's, you raise a good point about like trying to reach out to more than one, and make it as inclusive as possible. But I don't see this as, I envision this more as an open house where people can come have one-on-one conversations, grab an appetizer and a beer and ask their questions, not sit down, have an audience with PowerPoint slides or think of that nature. So I don't see any problem with, checking with multiple contractors to see if there could send somebody to come out and answer questions. I was also going to reach out to Jamie. I know, and I think it'd be worth reaching out to other homeowners who have solar, who might be willing to drop by for a little bit and provide a little bit of that firsthand experience. There was someone who came to the commission meeting when there was the public hearing on the code change, who spoke in favor of the change, who was a solar owner. And I think I recall him being pretty eloquent on the topic. So that's another idea of a resource that we could have available for people who wanted to come and had questions about solar.
I think that'd be brilliant, and I think a great source for that is the city has that list of, I think it's what, 25 or 28 existing, the people who got permits to put solar on their house in Webster. I think we want to invite all those people to come, because then they could share their stories, and they're not all gonna be able to come, but I bet some of them would come, and they would I think be helpful for the other people who are considering solar.
Right. Anyone else that we should reach out to as part of this? Because I hope we can kind of divvy it up and make calls and really work on organizing this. If I'm leaving anyone
I just put this in the chat, but if we are thinking about homeowners to invite, Councilmember Emerson got solar installed just last year. And
Okay.
I think
Yeah, good to know.
he's really, yeah. So I think that would be a great person to invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Great idea.
Yeah. All right. I guess we need to decide on a date. And because we need to decide on this today so that we can get organizing. And since we have March 3rd, John, I mean, I want you to be part of this, but at the same time, I think we're going to run into a situation where someone's going to be unavailable one day or another.
I'm fine with going with March 3rd.
Okay.
I think that makes sense. I would just ask, in the future, if there's a project we're working on that's of particular interest to a particular commissioner, that he or she gets
Yeah.
sort of
And
roped in early rather than after it's too late.
yeah. No, I understand. And I hope this isn't the last we do on solar. This is not the final word. So I hope there's more to come. Anyone have a time preference so we can get this nailed down? I think like a 1 to 3 would be just off the top of my head. Even catch some stragglers coming out of the lunch crowd and bend their ear on putting solar on their house. Um,
Is,
um,
is 2 hours long enough?
do you think it needs to be more?
I think it's good because you want to have you don't you want to have
Yeah,
a
you want to
critical
have a
mass. So if you
right.
too
That's what
many
I was.
hours, then it seems like
Mhm.
nobody gives a damn. And so in 2 hours, I think most people seems to me wide enough that if you're keen and you're not already out of town, you can make it work.
Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense.
And there's probably there's nothing against if somebody comes at the end and wants to hang around a little bit longer, and even if we have to give up the room and just talk to them. But again, as far as commission staffing, like having us there, I think 2 hours we can, those of us who want to can all be there. So 1 to 3 on March 3rd, and is if I could, anyone interested in working together with me and Sean and helping make some calls and kind of an organizing subcommittee.
I'm going to make some calls. I know a lot of these different
Okay, great,
principals at the solar companies in town, and
great.
glad to
That'd
do
be
that.
that'd be a big help. All right. And anything else? I mean, like I said, I was envisioning this as just to keep it very um, low key, pitch it as an open house, try to get, I guess we can work with Jenny about getting word out on the website. And then I don't know about something in the Webster Kirkwood Times, trying to get a story out, maybe even, I don't want to volunteer Elizabeth when she's not here, but she'd be a great person to talk since she has solar on her house and she's on the commission. I can reach out to her about that.
That'd be brilliant if we can get it to run that whatever the Wednesday,
Right.
the issue right before the Sunday event. That'd be great.
Right.
I can talk to Elizabeth too.
Okay, good.
So are you
Oh, your powers
envisioning,
of persuasion are better.
Right. I'll tell her I'll drive her.
Okay.
And
Carpool.
do either of you guys have, is anybody in touch with Don Corrigan at the Webster Kirkwood Times in terms of somebody to pitch it to?
You sent me his email address, John. I can send it to him.
Don, he'd be a good starting place for pitching that because he does a lot of the environmental stories for the paper.
Right. Right.
I'm going to be talking with them about the Eco Ed series,
Okay.
which starts right after that. So we might need to coordinate that. So I can help with that part.
Wonderful. Thanks, Karen.
Great. Okay.
Can I ask before we move on, actually, Jeff?
Yes.
So I can coordinate accurately with the venue. How many? So I'm envisioning we have a table for Ameren. We have however many installers we have, but probably one table per installer.
Right.
And then maybe a table for existing Webster Groves residents that have panels. Is that what you all are thinking? And are there any other tables that maybe I'm missing?
Ours? Should we have a table?
Table for us to give out bags.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, yes. And I have another fun update on that. With the help of Carla, we got about 300 bags out to students at Webster University.
Wow.
So, yeah. So we still have like just one big box left. So, yeah. So we've made major headway with Carla's help on the bags.
Right.
But
I don't know.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
I don't know how large the room is at Olive and Oak. How many tables can we accommodate? But I feel pretty confident we'll be able to, whether it's a table, regardless of how many tables there are or how we lay it out, we'll have room. And just the format we're talking about kind of lends itself to more mingling and kind of more of informal.
Yeah, it's actually the atrium space when you
Okay.
walk. Yeah, so instead of, it's almost like closer to the perennial side,
Right.
but when you walk towards the perennial doors, it's the atrium on the left. So
Gotcha.
that's what we have on hold right now. So it's not a huge room, but it's
Right.
perfect for, I think it will be perfect for our needs. And I think it will help. It's narrow enough that it will feel lively. I think
Right.
even
Right.
it's not
Yeah.
too big. So I think that's good. But thank you. A table for the commission to hand out bags is perfect. Thank you for that. And so are we imagining maybe like no more than 3 installers, just, a couple? Is that what you
Right.
guys are?
That's my thought is, we're not, we can't open it up to everybody, but we can get a few that are they're pretty prominent around here.
Okay.
And this will be publicly noticed too. So we're not keeping anybody out who somebody sees this and wants to drop by. And yeah, so I think we're not going to exclude anybody, but we do have to have limits just for space constraints. But I think we can work through these details, perhaps at the subcommittee level, and then bring this back for final. We can go through the details again at our next meeting, which will be before
Sounds good.
the event.
Do you consider this to be the celebration we had talked about last year, or is this minor compared to that?
That's what I was thinking, even though I know that we contemplated, a gross solar involvement, but yeah. But yeah, I think waiting any later to do something else, I mean, maybe there'd be an opportunity, I don't know, but
Okay.
this would be, I would envision this is our big kickoff because we haven't sort of publicly talked about the rebate program.
Yeah, nice.
And hopefully there's interest and we get a decent turnout. All right, with that, I'll turn it over to Karen if you want to talk a little bit about EcoEd and green space.
Sure. I met with Corin and Carrie back in December, and Greenspace, they are eager to move ahead with the EcoEd series. And one of the challenges that we have been up against is getting people there to the programs. There's actually three main components of getting this to work, and that's speakers, venue, and publicity. And as far as venue is concerned, I talked with Jamie and I talked with Corin and Carrie about this, and they felt that going back to the Webster Groves Public Library would be a smart move. The Webster University venue was difficult for people to get to, and I think we think it may have contributed to the fall off in attendance. So back to the Webster Groves. Yes, Andrea?
Will they let you do it at the rec center? In any of those rooms in the rec center?
They might. I don't know.
Those are pretty nice and pretty big.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I could check into that.
Yeah.
We did have the Grow Solar event at one of the rooms in the rec center, for example. So that it worked out at that point. And it was a fine room, worked well. Although I also like the library. I think you have a lot of environmental groups that meet at the library already, like the Webster Groves Nature Study Society. So
and you can get more.
I think you've got kind of a built-in audience who's familiar with that venue more so than
right. And the library, I've talked with them, and the the second Thursday or whatever it was we had is no longer available, but the first Tuesdays are available. And so tentatively, I mean, we can always unreserve them, but I've reserved the first Tuesdays for us because that was the only one that was available. That's a popular venue. But we can look into the rec center if y'all would rather do it there. But the venue, I volunteered to take care of venue coordination. And I volunteered to coordinate publicity, and that doesn't mean that I will do it all myself, but to coordinate it with Jen, with the Webster Kirkwood Times, with other social media platforms that Jen, I'm not sure how much she plugs into things like the Webster Grows Community Connect or whatever those other Facebook groups are that people are interacting on. So I volunteered to help with the venue and publicity, but as far as speakers are concerned, we thought that 6 events was plenty. That I think we did, what, 8 or 9 last year? And with 3 for green space and 3 for sustainability. Green space has theirs settled. They want to do one on trees. They volunteered to do the watershed, possibly a watershed walk, and then also for pollinators and in the fall for pollinators, leave the leaves, winter garden, yard maintenance tips, that sort of thing. That leaves 3 for us. I thought maybe if, I don't know what we would do with it, but Green Dining Alliance might be a subject for one of ours, or something to do with why you do that. Also energy conservation, weatherization, electrification, alternative forms of energy. Now, I had originally thought, well, March 5th is coming up really soon, and that's the first Tuesday in March. And I've got resources at hand. I've talked with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources Division of Energy fellow, who he also spoke at the One St. Louis Sustainability Lab, where I heard Eric Schneider speak. He is willing to come, and Eric, and we wouldn't have to do solar at that one, but that's one focusing now, since we've got this solar thing on March 3rd, which I was not aware of at the time that I was working on the speaker series. We can focus more on energy conservation, weatherization. That's 2. And number 3 is a question mark. So that the dates are, we would do March, April, May, and June, take July and August off, and then do September and October. Ours would be October 1st, is the one that has question marks on it right now. The Green Dining Alliance is tentatively on for May 7th, if that works. So what we would need to do as a commission would be, first of all, to decide whether or not we want to go forward with being a part of the speaker series, of course. And then secondly, we would need to finalize our subjects and engage speakers and get a couple of sentences worth from them about what they would be speaking on by the end of January, so that we can get a publicity package together. If we're going to advertise the series, we need to get started with it in February so that we hit the March and April dates running. So it would mean that whoever is here would agree to participate in some way by either coming up with another subject, coming up with another speaker. And then the other thing is, at the venue itself, I would hope that we would have commission members who would be able to help set up the chairs and break it down, and just be available as a commission member in case there's any need for that there. So that's where I am with the speaker series. I guess question number 1 is, do we want to go ahead with it?
Yeah. John. Oh, yeah.
What is the cost for the commission for this? Don't we do an honorarium for the speakers?
So we had talked about doing an honorarium at one point, and I was going to revisit that today also. I met with Jamie last week, and she feels really strongly that we need to think about offering an honorarium, but we haven't offered one.
Yeah, I'm agnostic on. I'm not arguing for it or against it. I'm just trying to get information. I think overall, I think having it back at the library is good. I think these topics sound great. The one thing I'd ask for our third topic for the commission is to give us between now and the next meeting to think about it, because it's new news, and then we can be as thoughtful and strategic with the invitation as possible.
I think that's true. I think a month is a long time, and we need to have the articles written basically by the end of January. So that's a little
Like in a one week, you mean?
Yeah, if we could. I mean, as soon as possible. I mean, if there's, we don't have to, but if we had a topic and if somebody knew of a speaker that we could come up with for that, I would ask that we not wait a whole month to do that. Because for the March meeting, we have to start doing publicity in early February.
But
Right.
this would be the October meeting we're trying to fill, right?
Right, but we're advertising a series, and we could have a TBD on it. I mean, that would be okay. I'd rather not. If we were going to be advertising the series, I think it would be great to have the series laid out. I understand that it's a serious time crunch, but I think it was Jen Starkey who said she needed a month from the whatever date that we're going to use so it was a communications plan that she and Jamie worked out, and Jamie gave me that plan. And so it is a month lead time. But I'm sure there's probably some flexibility, especially if there's help, if she has help getting things together, which I can do.
I did want to let you guys bring your attention, if you want council's participation, first and third Tuesdays are our meetings. So we would not be able to attend.
Okay.
But it's entirely up to you all.
Sounds like we don't have a choice, right? Karen, didn't you say that was the only availability?
If we want to have it on a regular day, like the first Tuesday, and we want to have it at the library, then that's when it is. Otherwise, if we decide to move to the rec center, we could do something else. I like the library myself. It would be great to be able to have council members there. I'm not sure what the deciding points are.
Yeah, I think first of all, I think through having sustainability and green space each host 3 kind of hits the sweet spot. It's one a month is just a lot to try to recruit people to attend, but any fewer than that, then I don't know, you kind of lose a little momentum. I guess my question is there any really value to be had by promoting the whole series versus taking it one at a time? Just as far as when you weigh it against the work, the planning that's required to pack that in a relatively short period of time.
No, we wouldn't have to. I mean, obviously we don't have to. I think that I was envisioning an article in the Webster Kirkwood Times that laid out the whole series.
Right.
Thought that might be a good thing to have, but we can always say that there's another one in October to be determined.
Okay. And the other question is, do we want to go with energy conservation? I appreciate you all the work you've put in, and certainly a topic that I'd love to see covered.
It's a topic that I'm willing to
Okay.
cover. That's if there are other topics that people want to do that is, you know, speak up.
Yeah. You mentioned DNR grants. What for energy efficiency?
Not grants.
Some funding of some sort.
State of Missouri is they're getting money from the federal, I think it's I don't know, it's one of the federal block grants.
Okay.
To start providing Missouri specific rebates and incentives in 2025.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
that's, I mean, that's something, and I'm not sure how that works, how that stacks up, or whether it stacks with the federal or is supersedes the federal. I'm not sure how that works, but the fellow from DNR has that information.
Okay.
So when I was thinking about conservation, I'm thinking educational about what does conservation mean in your home? What does it mean? And what do you, talking about energy audits and just simple, cheap things you can do to save money and to save, you know, save the greenhouse gas emissions.
Right.
So the incentives and rebates are certainly a part of that, but I think there's a much broader educational component as to that people need to hear about.
Okay. Okay.
And I would like to point out that on our webpage for the Sustainability Commission, right at the city level, is the first thing that it says is it was the commission was put together in order to promote energy conservation, comma, and a couple of other things. So it's number one on our webpage.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely something that doesn't get enough attention. I don't know. It's kind of a where you want to go with it in terms of speakers and things of that nature. But I'm on board for 3 of these, and yeah, just glad you're putting in all this work to promote them and organize them.
Yeah, I don't have a specific like person speaker idea, but I just keep thinking like when we wanted more people, we'd always get families and kids, like, and if you get, you know, so I saw even today, like Robert Downey Jr. came out with that new book, Cool Food, and it's just like a game, it just changes your switching, like simple fixes. So if we have like a speaker like that, what simple fixes could you do in your home? Like, oh, choose strawberries instead of blueberries, you know, or something on the daily to reduce your carbon footprint, or just something, little things. Like when you're at the grocery store, thinking about when you're buying, I think would be helpful for people because it just seems so overwhelming.
Right. Right.
So that sounds like, I'm not sure what we would do for Green Dining Alliance. I was trying to figure out what kind of speaker would be appropriate for that, but something along the lines of food choices, in addition to, I mean, I don't know. It's a
right. I don't know. Just an idea.
Flew through my head.
Right.
And I would think another possible for that October 1 topic would be another one on solar, with people talking about their experiences. Because I think, you know, we've got this $500 rebate. We want to get it out. I think we want to have as many touches as many methods as possible to reach people. And it'd be another opportunity to get local residents who've got solar there to geek out and tell their story. And I think it'd draw people, because I think there's a lot of solar curious people who just don't know where to start.
Well, and October 1st might be a good time for you to do a solar home tour, John.
That's before I die. I want to do that one too. But I think it fits well in this format, and it ties back into the investment we're already making in terms of the rebate.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Any other comments, thoughts on our participation in the Eco Ed series? No, I don't think this is something we need to vote on formally to go forward with. So unless someone has any thoughts, I say we go for it. Do the
Can I
first
ask a quick
three.
question?
Oh,
Sorry,
yes.
I lost connectivity for a second. Karen, can you just repeat those dates that the Sustainability Commission? I know I heard May 7th, and then I
Mhm.
got cut out for a couple minutes.
So March 5th, May 7th, and October 1st.
Thank you.
All right. That sounds great. Thanks again, Karen, for all your work organizing this. I know it sounds like you're shouldering a lot of the load on this, so appreciate it.
Well, I'm retired. I've got time and I get to pick where I spend it. So
Okay, I know we're at 5 o'clock. I just wanted to hit on Earth Day real quick. And I'll float this out. We don't have to make any decisions, but I was wondering if there was an opportunity, and I'm thinking it's like April the 22nd. So it would be that the weekend prior, 20th and 21st. But I just wondered if there was an opportunity to reach out to the grocers in Webster and see if they would let us, whether it's for an hour or 2 hours on Saturday morning or Saturday or Sunday, whenever, go out and hand out bags to at each, whether it's Straub's, Schnucks, Freddy's. If we could just divide up, spend an hour or two handing out bags and kind of tackle the backlog that way a little bit. I know it gets to be, at least my calendar seems to fill up in April. So it would take a little bit of time for all of this, but any thoughts on that? Be willing to spend an hour or two doing that?
So that's the weekend of 13-14 you're talking?
No, the weekend of 21st of April. So I think Earth Day is the 22nd on a Monday, so that probably wouldn't work. So
well, there is something else I was going to bring up, but
yeah,
it has to do with Earth Day.
sure. Go ahead.
The Natural Living Expo that they have at the Webster Recplex.
Oh,
I looked into that, and I think it's a really good opportunity for us to table there. And we could get out a lot of information about what we're doing. We could give out green bags. We could advertise the Eco Ed series. Maybe we could even have a bicycle clinic or something like that. Green Dining Alliance information.
okay.
It costs $150 to do a table there.
Okay.
It just seemed like it's sort of Earth Day, but it was something that somebody else is organizing, so you wouldn't have to do anything other than table, which
Yeah.
I'm willing to.
What's the date?
April 14th.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah. Sounds like a fantastic opportunity, a great audience for us, especially for giving out bags. All right. Well, anyone who's interested in sort of helping reach out to the grocers, just shoot me a line, shoot me an email, and if we can get 3 people to just make that call, then we can help organize it and try to get folks out. I don't think this has to be super formal. It can just be whenever it fits into your schedule. If we can get maybe 2 people to show up for a couple hours on Saturday morning at one of the stores and just hand them out, kind of spread the word of what we're doing and why we're trying to do it. I thought it would be, one more avenue channel to get rid of these things.
Good for you. And I have
Yes, John.
one other quick thing. I know we're at the end of our time, and I want to be aware of that. But I had one question I wanted to make sure that I was sort of understood our situation as a commission is
Mhm.
I know we have a bond issue in April that includes solar panels on a new rec center. Is that right?
Councilmember Bliss.
Yes, pretty sure. I have not looked at that list in a while, but I know that was up there. That's just right now they're listed as possibilities
Okay, that's kind of what I thought.
for adopting the entire bond amount.
So before we vote, will it be made specific, or will we be voting on something that says these are the things we might do and we'll do some of them, but maybe not all of them?
Yeah, I mean, the overall idea for the bond is the new swimming pool, but then there's also a lot of capital improvements. Many of them have a sustainability aspect to them that are also on the bond, such as I know there are some structures in parks that would be solar. Solar on the Recplex is a possibility. EV charging in other locations in the city. So other things that are technically capital improvements, we would be including in the bond to help get those projects done more quickly.
So when we do vote on the bond, that level of specificity will be in it. Like, say, like there will be something about solar panels on the rec center, or
yeah, I mean, short of having actual numbers, it's going to be kind of the best we can do as far as estimates. So those projects, you know, how many can we fit in a $21 million bond with 12 or so going towards the pool? How would we divide it up?
Okay.
That's not talked about. Of all the projects possible, we have not decided which ones actually will go away. There's an option of an open air theater. So yeah, we just need to talk about what those options would be. We have not done that yet.
But I'm trying not to be too dense here, but will that happen before then the ballot measure is put up, or will it be a ballot measure where there's sort of like a gross amount for projects that's approved, and then in the post vote you parcel out what you actually do?
I think it's going to be a post vote actual, you know, we have to get bids, all those other items that would have to occur. So this is kind of like, generally speaking, these are what we're going for. I think, you know, big picture, there's a lot of sustainability initiatives on there, and they rank high in the community listing. You know, when you all did the surveys, they are high up there. So it's a combination of money available, community input, council, city management, public works, etc. The order.
Would it be possible? I love the idea. I think having doing some of these major solar installations would be really great. But I want to know what we can do as a sustainability commission and what we can't do in terms of talking about an election or talking about what's in there. Like,
So
for example,
wanna...
as a civilian, I wrote a letter to the editor of the Webster Kirkwood Times saying, yay, solar panels on a new rec center. Would that be verboten because it'd be an electioneering by somebody?
I mean, yeah, those are actions you all could take as a committee. You could write them together, letters together, on why you think the bond issue would be a good idea. And, you know, these are your focus and what, you know, yes.
Okay, that'd be cool. That wouldn't be like breaking some election law that we're unaware of.
No, I think, like I said, you can submit a letter as a commission, and you could do it as a private citizen as well. But I mean, so there's a lot of possibilities that way. I can try to learn more about the education. I know we've actually hired a firm to do that strategy and communications for this bond issue, so we can find out more about that later. I know it's kind of that's a new thing.
Great, thank you.
Last few weeks that they've hired this company.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay. We've got our next meeting on Monday, the 26th. And with that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
All right. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you
Thank you,
next month. And I'll be following up with some of you individually.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Good
Bye,
job.
thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.